Hi everybody, it's Kasey again, and in this video we are going to be going over a small exercise that Ty went over with me to help me understand the bigger picture when it comes to reaching my goals. So everybody knows by now that I hope to make my first $1 million by the time I'm 25. That gives me 4 years. And so with that in mind, me and Ty went over some options that I had available to me, and one of those options were to go get an entry-level job in the desired field that I want, and work towards my goal from there. And he was like, okay, that was just one of the options. There were many others, but he said, okay, let's go over this small exercise to see if that's the perfect opportunity for you. If this job pays me X amount of money for this amount of years, this many years, is it going to help me reach $1 million in 4 years? And so that's where he pointed out that the first business partner that you'll always have is going to be a handy dandy calculator. You're always going to need a calculator to do the arithmetic, because the calculator, you just punch in the numbers and it'll give you the answer, and it'll tell you if you want to make $500,000 in 4 years and they pay you this certain amount of money, you just punch it in the calculator and it'll tell you how much you'll make in 5 years. Okay, so the calculator does the arithmetic for you, and once you find out how much amount of money you make in that amount of years, that's when your second business partner comes into play. Your second business partner is always going to be Uncle Sam. And for those that are not from the United States, Uncle Sam is just taxes. Okay? So I was like, why didn't I think of this? Or why didn't I have this ingrained in my head? Why is Uncle Sam always going to be a business partner? It's because no matter what amount of money you make $100, you make $1 million, you make $5, you make 25 cents, whatever you make, Uncle Sam is always going to take a portion of that money, because taxes is always going to be deducted. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? Like, why didn't I think that Uncle Sam was a business partner? He was like, exactly, but now you're thinking like that, so now you can calculate the opportunity presented to you and then account for Uncle Sam to see if the opportunity is the right opportunity to reach the goal that you want to reach. And I was like, okay. And he's like, all right, now it's time to start this little exercise that we're going to do and see if the opportunity presented right now is the opportunity that you want. So we're going to go over this small exercise, and bear with me. I lost my dry eraser, so I'm going to use a handy dandy napkin. Hey, what can I say? It gets the job done. Improvise. So $1 million in 4 years, $1 million by the time I'm 25, and if I get an entry-level job, we're gonna bring out my first business partner and do some small calculations. So if I get an entry-level job, the average entry-level college graduate makes about $48,000 a year, and that sounds great, yeah. But Ty was like, okay, is this gonna help you make $1 million in 4 years? He's like, let's do the math. $48,000 multiply it by 4 for 4 years, and you'll get $192,000. And he pointed out, he's like, you'll make $192,000 with the entry-level job now in 4 years, but you want to make $1 million. With this job, how many years is it going to take you to make your $1 million? And I was like, well, 4 years, and let's say close to $200,000 times 5, that's like 20 years, give or take. Yeah. That's not the rate I want to go about. And he's like, exactly, but keep that in mind, because the exercise isn't over yet. He goes, you'll make $192,000 in 4 years, but you haven't accounted for Uncle Sam. You haven't accounted for taxes. I was like, okay. Can we account for taxes? He's like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so if you make $48,000 a year, taxes is probably going to take around 25% of that. And so we do, well, not 192. I apologize. Let's do it by year. If you make $48,000 a year, and 25% of $48,000 is $12,000. So every year you're going to be paying around, I'm going to be paying around $12,000 in taxes. Let's multiply 12,000 by 4 years, and I'll get 48,000. Okay, so from $192,000, I will actually, $48,000 of that money will actually go towards taxes. So I'll only bring home $144,000. That's how much money I will bring home. And if my goal is to make $1 million by this amount of time, I'm short $808,000. I'm sorry, that's not correct. $192,000 minus $48,000 is $144,000. You subtract that from $1 million. It's actually only it's actually a bigger difference. It's $856,000 that I don't have. I'm away from my goal. So let's keep that in mind. $1 million in 4 years, I make $192,000 if I get an entry-level job at $48,000 a year, and I will end up paying $48,000 in taxes and only bring in $144,000. Okay. I've also got to take into account too that living expenses. I live in Texas, and the average single person needs about $4,000 a month to make it, okay? And I am bringing in $144,000 in 4 years. Let's divide that. That's $36,000 a year. $36,000 a year is how much I'll actually bring home every year. That's what Uncle Sam taking out. That's what taxes taking out, okay? And I need $4,000 a month to survive, or to sustain my expenses when living in Texas, okay? So if I need $4,000 a month and I multiply that by 12, for 1 year, it gives me $48,000. Let's bring this number down here. I need $48,000 to keep up with my expenses, but I'm only bringing in $36,000. I'm going to be living in a dump. Or I'm not going to be living the life that I want to live, or I probably won't have time to go out with friends. It's a tight budget that I'll have to be living in. And he pointed that out to me. He was like, the numbers that we punched into the calculator, 1, it doesn't help you reach the goals that you want to reach. And 2, your 2 business partners don't agree with what you want to achieve. The calculator tells me I'll make $48,000 a year, $192,000 in 4 years, and that's nowhere near the $1 million that I hope to make by then. Also, we have to take into account for Uncle Sam, my second business partner, who's going to take out $12,000 each year, which makes it $48,000 from the $192,000. So I'll actually only be bringing home $144,000, And when you divide that by 4, I'm only bringing home $36,000 a year, but I need at least $48,000 to live comfortably in Texas. How does this opportunity benefit me? Is this the lifestyle I want to live? And he asked me that. Is that the life you want to live? Or do you want to go over some more options and see what you can do to achieve the goal that you want to achieve? And I was like, I don't want to live like this. If I have to, I will, but are there other options available? And he said, absolutely. But always keep in mind that with every decision that you make, you're always going to have those 2 business partners. So every opportunity that I offer you, keep those 2 business partners in your head and always get in the flow of always doing the arithmetic or always evaluating the opportunity presented to you with those 2 business partners, because it'll help you see the bigger picture. So I thought that was very important. That's a very important lesson to learn. It helped open up my eyes, and I am very grateful that he pointed this out, because he is correct. Rent isn't cheap if I want to live on my own. And all the expenses that add up, I have to food, water, electricity, gas, getting to work, transportation, everything adds up. It's not cheap. And he pointed that out to me. He's like, you got to understand all the numbers that add up, and you got to put it in the calculator to see if you'll be making enough money and if that's the lifestyle you want to live. And then you also got to account for Uncle Sam too. You also got to account for income tax. He was like, always have those 2 in your head no matter what. And if you have that mindset and get in the flow of doing that, you'll be okay. You'll understand, and your thinking, your mentality is gonna be better than it is now. And once you got that down, you'll start taking more steps and more steps and more steps, and you'll start thinking about options and coming up with ideas and everything. But always keep in mind that you always have those 2 business partners. And like I said, I am so thankful he pointed that out to me, because it's helped me. My thinking has changed. My mentality has changed. And I tell him constantly, like, yeah, I didn't think about this before, but I'm thinking about this now, and I'm coming up with new ways. Like, how can I better my chances at achieving my goal? And he's like, perfect. That's what I want you to do. This was step 1 of a million other steps you got to take, but hey, you're getting it. You're going in the right direction. And I want you guys to go in the right direction with me too. So if you have an opportunity that's presented to you, do this calculation in your head. Account for the calculator. Is the opportunity that you want? Will it help you achieve the goal? And then account for Uncle Sam. And with that, it'll help you understand if that opportunity presented is the right opportunity for you. Okay, so with that in mind, I hope you liked this video. I hope you were able to understand the exercise that he went over with me, and it'll help you, and you'll be thinking the same way that I'm thinking now. Or if it doesn't, I apologize. I tried to the best of my abilities. And with that, if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave it in the section below. Like I said, we look through every feedback that we get. We want as much feedback as possible, because we want to improve this series of videos. We are always looking for ways to improve. So any suggestions and comments that you have, leave in the comment below. And remember, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up.